Good day, everybody. Today we are here for another interview with Vincent Optimus Klerks, our Terran player from the Netherlands. Very welcome to you, Vincent.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you are well and fine.
Yeah, of course. I'm doing fine. Thank you.
So, first, let me ask you something. I'm very curious. So, you told me that you are at Thermal's place, actually.
Yeah,
Uh,
correct.
why is that? For any particular reason, or?
Um, we usually do one or two boot camps a year. And now he's living on his own. He asked me if I wanted to, or well, I asked him, can I come over for a week? And he said, sure. So I'm staying in his living room and I've set up my computer. It's not the most ideal setup, but it's fun. It's fun for sure.
So hold you are holding a boot camp, a Terran boot camp.
Kind of. He has two other roommates as well that play StarCraft. So we are kind of just living StarCraft at the moment for a week. For sure.
Nice. That sounds very good.
Yeah, for sure.
So not only playing StarCraft.
No, I I mainly play StarCraft. I don't really play other games at the moment.
Hmm.
But I mean they still have their studies, school, work. So just at the
Okay.
moment, me and Thermal are staying full time for now.
Okay. Cool. Uh, yeah, we can dive into that a bit
Hmm.
later.
Yeah,
But to be completely honest with you, um, I was trying to figure out some things about you, doing some research on you,
mm,
and I couldn't find that much.
yeah,
So, could you maybe tell us a bit more about who is Vincent?
sure.
Yeah.
Well, where do we start?
So,
um,
how old are you at the
uh,
moment? Where are you
uh,
residing? All that.
all right. I'm 22 years old at the moment. Birth month is August, so only recently.
Hmm.
Let's see. I started playing StarCraft early Wings of Liberty, the good old days, the nostalgia, and I started off actually in bronze for like 2 or 3 months. Even I was stuck in bronze, and I was absolutely terrible. I couldn't do anything, and then eventually I got to diamond, slowly to master, and only 3 years or something after I started playing, I got grandmaster. And even then, like compared to now, the skill difference is it's insane. So
Okay.
like only 5 or 6 years after starting to play, I got where I am now. Last year I decided to do because I was done with my study. I wasn't too sure what I was gonna do. I
Hmm.
decided to go full time for a year.
Hmm.
And until about May or June, I wasn't too sure what I was gonna do because my results weren't too great. And then around June, July, I decided I wanted to stay full time for another year. So here I am for another year.
Okay, so you only became full time last year. No, this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, last year, August 2016.
Okay.
That's when I was
Okay.
done with school and work. And I decided to try it for a year. Until then, I
Okay.
was playing 10 games a week, maybe, sometimes even less. So not a whole lot. And now I'm playing about 20, 25 a day. So that's a huge, huge difference for sure.
For sure, and it makes a difference in the outcome, obviously, also of you playing StarCraft. Yeah. So you are from the Netherlands, and what's your hometown?
Well, I've lived in many towns. When I was young, I grew up in close to the German border, in like a small village, and eventually I moved to a bigger town. It's called Zwolle, close to the center of the Netherlands, and that's where I'm living right now for a few years already.
Okay. And when you talk about finishing school, you mean studies or just proper like normal school?
Well, I'm not sure. The Dutch education system is pretty interesting. When you finish your high school, you can choose whether you want to do 2 degrees of studies, basically. The more involved with doing an internship and so on is the lower degree of study. And I decided to do that one because I was not sure if I had the commitments um, to really go for it.
Hmm.
So I got a degree in IT management,
Okay.
which I did in 3 years. So I'm pretty happy with that. And it was supposed to be 4, but I managed to do it in 3. So that's why I kind of started with the full-time StarCraft.
Okay. Okay, so there is so you actually finished school and you finished a degree, and now that's why you only became full-time now. In
Uh,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
basically.
basically. Okay, cool. Um, so you already hinted at that. Actually, one of my questions was, are you full-time at the moment? And you already answered that. So you are actually full-time for a
Yeah.
year now, and
hmm
now you decided to go for another year. So what? How was your experience in your first year being
Hmm.
full-time? You obviously you
Yeah.
said you're playing much more.
hmm
The outcome of your games improved, all that type of things. But in general, what would you say?
Mm. All right. It was pretty interesting.
Mhm.
When I first started, I wasn't too sure how good I was. I was always around the mid of GM, bit higher, like around 50. So I wasn't too sure what I could expect, and I was mainly trying it out for a year, see how it goes. But traveling abroad was really a lot of fun and gave me a whole new motivation on continuing to practice. Traveling on your own to America, Katowice in Poland
Mhm.
was a lot of fun for sure.
Mhm. Okay.
Um, but yeah, it was a difficult at first. It really took some getting used to, and only around February did I feel like I was actually putting in the time that I needed to put in. Before that, I wasn't playing too well.
So, would you say it's only time that you put in, or did you also change something in your practice in general? How
I
you
don't think I
approached your practice? Mhm.
I don't think I changed too much. I think I was kind of lazy at at first. I was like, well,
Okay.
I mean, there's no tournament for a few months. I can get away with not practicing as much. But around January, I really was like, all right, I really want to do this. And then I just really started practicing a whole lot more. And I had the ups and downs, of course, everyone has it. But in general, I feel pretty happy since about January that I actually put in the required amount of time, for sure.
So, what is the required amount of time?
Well, it's pretty difficult because you don't go to work from 9 till 5, right? It depends on how long does a game take. Do you play in tournaments? But I try to stream around 40 hours a month right now, about
Mhm.
40 hours, as well as playing in online tournaments and just some practice in general. So I get about five 5.5 hours a day, I think,
Okay.
which
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with right now. But I mean, you could always do better. But still, streaming is definitely take getting some used to for sure. Because not only are you playing, you're also explaining what you're doing
hmm
and interacting with other people. So it's a lot of getting used to for sure.
Sure, it's complex. Yeah. So, so you can make a living out of it at the moment. It's fine.
Yeah, at the moment,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's fine.
I mean, it's not a gold mine. You shouldn't go into pro gaming to become rich, but I can live off it for now. Yeah, definitely.
That's good. So, what always interests me, I'm a bit older than you. I'm 36, and I'm married, and I'm working and everything. And um, I'm always curious how your family um,
hmm
reacts to that choice that you made. Now, for you are making it for another year now. So, how do they feel about you living this?
It was pretty interesting. They weren't too supportive at the start. I mean, I've always gone to tournaments since end of Wings of Liberty,
hmm
so they kind of knew what I was doing. But my father wasn't too supportive and still isn't the most. But my mom is starting to become like, "Oh, you're actually making this work, and how is it going now?" And really starting to become interested. And my brother and sister as well. So it's definitely more supportive than 1 or 2 years ago.
So hopefully the results will come in that.
I hope so. I mean,
Yeah.
they only look at the results eventually, right? So if you don't put in the results, then well, yeah, I did really well this tournament, but I didn't get any money, so there's nothing to show, right?
So how would you what? So your first goal was to survive 1 year as a full-time pro gamer. You achieved that goal. Um, what goals do you have for your new year coming up now?
Um, well, my first year, I wanted to. I wasn't. I didn't really have a goal. I kind of wanted to, get top 32, top 16, qualify for WCS. But I feel like I've improved so much since then. I kind of every time I go to an event, I'm kind of stuck in the round of 32 or lose the first round in Challenger. I really want to get 1 or 2 deep runs and really see how I'm doing. Because I think skill-wise, I can definitely knock out one of the bigger names. But it's very difficult, especially in like a long day, like at those DreamHacks, that's 8, 9 hours later after you started. So I think my goal would be a round of 16, maybe a round of 8 finish at
Mhm.
WCS.
Mhm.
And I mean qualifying for Challenger is very important as well.
Yeah. So that's the basic goals for next year.
Yeah,
Focusing on that, focusing on your training, focusing on the coming into Challenger, then round of 16,
yeah,
round of 8. Yeah, cool. I mean, sounds very achievable. And like you said, as far as I can see, and when I saw you in tournaments, and you obviously improved. So uh, that should be
yeah.
quite nice.
For example, at Valencia, I lost 1-2 to Harstem. And then I had to play True, who's not unbeatable for me either. Like I was pretty close, I think. I think it's not an unrealistic goal by any means. Um, but it still requires more practice, right? It's not a walk in the park by any means. And you need a bit of bracket luck as well.
For sure. Would you say that you are still stage fright? Like.
Mm, I mean, I've never played on a real big stage, but I don't really get nervous in tournaments anymore. Just the day before, usually. I'm like,
Mhm.
ooh, what do I do? But when I'm playing, I'm not too nervous anymore. No.
Cool. So, for somebody that doesn't know you very well as a player, we learned about your background now, but what would you say? How would you describe your own playstyle?
That's pretty interesting because until 2 months ago, I would say very textbook aggressive.
Uh-huh.
But recently I started playing a lot of mech. I find mech a lot more suitable at the moment,
Okay.
more so than bio, at least in TVZ and arguably TVT, though I'm not really liking that at the moment. So I think I can play pretty diverse, but in general, as Terran as well, you have to be pretty aggressive. You have to make, if you're not the one deciding the momentum, you're gonna fall behind. So I think I'm a pretty aggressive player, but I can also change it up and play defensive, pretty standard. I am a bit pretty well rounded. I say I can do everything
Mhm.
okay, but I'm not. I don't excel in anything in particular.
But if you had to choose at the moment, you prefer Mac, and
Uh,
obviously to decide the
yeah,
pace of the game.
at the moment in TVZ, I definitely prefer mech over bio by miles right now.
Mhm.
But in TVT and TVP, I still play bio. So it kind of depends on the matchup and against who I play. But in general, I think I'm pretty well rounded, standard.
Mhm.
I don't really rely on proxy rexes anymore like I used to do, for example.
Mhm.
But I can still throw them out if I have to.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much. We will take a short technical break and then we will back in a second.